Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here again for another session. Can you believe it's already been 2 weeks? Well, I can, and I am Cameroon has been up to a lot of fantastic things. Let me put you on, okay? First off, we were able to connect with the National Veterans Tournament. If you missed that, go straight to Facebook. Not right now, of course not. After the show, go to Facebook and go watch our President Emeritus Ariel Benson talk about his encounter in Nebraska and all the good things that the NVT is doing out there. That is one of the biggest Cameroonian events in the US. 25,000 people. I'll say that's a pretty big deal. What do you think? Hey,
Wow.
I'm Sally. And today we're going to be welcoming two spectacular guests. And when I say two, it's 1 + 1 = 1 because they are a couple. This morning we will be talking to Jimmy and Delphine. They are doing amazing things back in Cameroon. And if you're following our Facebook page, we did mention that they came back from abroad. But what we didn't tell you is they came back from Boston, USA. So they are the products of Boston, like Jimmy told me this morning. So I'm excited to speak with them and learn about their journey. And this is such an amazing story because most times it's usually the reverse. People always leave Cameroon to go abroad and then stay there. And there's always a lot of planning and a lot of discourse to go back home to start a business. But I'm seeing lately that lots and lots of Cameroonians are going back home to start a business, but this business is special because it's something that I also like. Don't mind the pretty face. I love their product too. So before we welcome our guests, please make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube channel, Je suis le Cameroon, I am Cameroon, to our Facebook page. You're following us so you catch up with everything that I am Cameroon is up to. All right. Good morning, Delphine and Jimmy. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation this morning. Hello.
Hello. Thank you
Hello,
for having
hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Beautiful. So I have both of your bios here, right? So I'm gonna start with Jimmy because before you guys became a couple, or before 2 + 1 + 1 was equal 1, I would like to know about the two of you individually. So Jimmy, can you please tell our audience a little bit more about yourself?
Okay. Where do I start? Overall, I'm from Kumba. I grew up in Hausa quarters and then went to Lycée Boya. It was a wonderful experience. I would not
Mm.
trade it for anything. And then we went to Kasbambili.
Yes.
After Kasbambili, I moved to the States. I was there for almost 25 years and then decided to come back to Cameroon. Um, I'm an engineer by training. I
Mm.
love to read, hang out. I think Chati can attest to this. When we were a lot
Yes.
younger, we hung out quite a bit and then just do fun, regular things.
Yes.
Between me and Delphine, we have two sons, and I think that just about covers it. But we've relocated from Boston. We now live in Yaoundé and we have a factory in Boya and we
Mm.
have a farm, Venus Farms, somewhere around Bachenga. So I think that just about covers it for me.
That is beautiful. If there's one thing we know about Kumba people is the ability to party. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful to learn that you are from Kumba. And I'm sure everybody that's from Kumba this morning is smiling. Okay, so I'm gonna pass it on to Delphine. Hi, Delphine. You look amazing, by the way, I should
Thank you.
say.
Thank you.
So can you please tell us a little bit more about yourself? And if I might add, can you sprinkle a little, just give us some sprinkle of like how you and Jimmy met before we start talking business, I'm nosy.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So my name is Delphine. I grew up in Douala, Boya, Limbe. all of that.
Yeah.
I went to Our Lady of Lourdes College and Cas Bambili, and University of Buea, before joining the workforce in then Douala and then Yaoundé. I met Jimmy through his sister, Maureen. We met online and we met for the first time in Paris. It's an exciting story. So yeah, then I moved with him to Boston in 2005. And I was there for about 10 years and then moved back in 2014. That's about it. I am a public health professional by training. So I work as a consultant right now for a business consulting firm. And then I do other things that will help move Cameroon forward.
Okay, so aside from your personal background, I'm looking at your bio here. It's very, very rich. Delphine, you're also an international consultant with extensive experience in the public health sector, like you just rightly mentioned. And you're also very passionate about the development of our continent, Africa, especially Cameroon. And you are also the vice president or the VP for sales and marketing of your company, the Taki and Tala Limited. You're also the co-founder of Venus Organic Farms. In fact, you have been doing a lot of amazing things. Okay, so I really want to get to know the both of you. So, you decided to go back to Cameroon. That I imagine that was not an easy decision for both of you. So how did that conversation go when you guys were talking about it? And anyone can pick up this question at this point. How did that conversation go? Because I'm curious, I want to know. Living in the US and then moving back to Cameroon is a very tough decision. So how did you guys have that conversation and come to the conclusion like this is what we want to do?
I guess we're the strange ones. So there was really no conversation. And when we first met, I was in Cameroon, he was in the USA. And what really made us get together, one of the reasons why we really, were inclined to be with each other was because we wanted to live our better years in Cameroon. So that was always in the plan. There was no conversation. When the time came, we just jumped on the plane. There was no plan. And that's the thing. A lot of people think you need to have maybe $500,000 in your bank account. You need to build a house. You need to buy a car. You need to make sure your life is not going to change. I guess we're adventurous. We jumped into it. That's it. That's the story.
So how was it looking on your end, Jimmy? How did this conversation, from your perception, what was going through your mind?
Nothing. I never wanted. I stayed in America, I think, 15 years longer than I planned to. So my idea was come, go to school after, just come back. But as we graduated, one thing led to another. Time went by, you started buying houses and those types of things. The family starts going. So, but I had drawn like a cutoff line and I said, okay, 45 would not meet me in America. So as I was approaching 45, I just told Delphine, okay, it's time for me to go. So at that point in time, she was in her last year of her master's program. So I came with the two children. So she stayed behind, finished the master's program, and then joined us. So that was just how. So if there was a long conversation, I had it in my head for like 15 years. I'm not too sure. But when it was time to go,
this was not. Sorry,
yes.
Please go on.
No, there was no like I just left with 2 suitcases and 4 laptops. That's all I remember.
So and I think there was no. Oh, okay. So there was no knee-jerk reaction or something didn't happen where you said, I'm out of here. It was just that has always been in the plan.
Yes, I love Cameroon. I cannot think of any place better to live in than Cameroon. Granted, we have a share of problems, but at the end of the day, I just love Cameroon. I feel better inside
You
Cameroon.
know, a lot of people, a lot of people share that same idea. People want to go back to Cameroon if things are better. And you and Delphine serves as that beacon of hope to the lot of us that are out here to believe that we can go back to Cameroon and make something and actually succeed at it, because the problem is not making it, the problem is succeeding at it. Now, let's talk about the star product of the show. I am excited for this. Okay, so your product, which we'll be really getting a deep dive on, is called the Thatcher Palm Wine Juice. Okay, sounds very gourmet if you ask me, and I love it. So, Delphine, can you please tell us about your business? Why palm wine? We've seen a lot of people go back home and start a business in so many different things, but you specific. I can't find my words this morning. You specifically chose palm wine. So palmy is what I like to call it. You chose palmy palm wine. Why? I'm curious.
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. So for Jimmy and I, we always believed in a bottom-up approach to development. And around our kitchen table every night, we brainstormed on a vast array of problems that we face in Cameroon that we could solve. And if we found the solution, that could be like a really great opportunity for wealth creation. And sometimes we would be like, oh God, it's so sad how so many people are just doing the same thing, replicating the same models, and there's really no innovation and change in what we do in terms of business. And so that's one thing. So we always thought, I remember Jimmy's first project he started talking about was, oh, let's improve the African kitchen. So there were all these ideas that came up. And just a full disclosure, when we came to Cameroon, Thatcher Palm Juice was not our first venture. So we went into industrial poultry in Kumba, which we had to shut down because of the crisis. But why palm wine? So Jimmy loved palm wine with a passion. Like every time we would go to a tropical market, he will pick up a different bottle of palm wine. And when he gets home, he'll be so disappointed. He'll be like, this is atrocious. I mean, we could do better. Why can't we get the taste? Why can't we maintain this taste and flavor? And whenever we would visit Cameroon, he would just be buying palm wine from every street corner, and I would be holding my breath like there's going to be typhoid in the future. Yeah. And sometimes I love palm wine, but I would have to filter it. I would have to, I would be like, Jimmy, please just wait, let's filter it before you drink. And he'll be like, so that's the story. So when he couldn't continue with the poultry in Kumba, he started doing the research on palm wine, and this was to solve two problems. First, to get it stabilized so people like him who live in Boston or wherever in London can taste fresh palm wine without coming home. And then to address the problem that I was facing with the hygiene around the whole palm wine thing. Like, is that bottle clean? Like, what are they doing? So that was what brought us to this space.
Beautiful. So there was the issue of quality control. It could be the scenario, how it was made, how it was collected, and also the general hygienic conditions that surrounded it. I'll say that that's a very good motivator. So, Jimmy, when you drank palm wine that you bought from different places in Cameroon, obviously you didn't think the best of it. So what was the thing that made a difference to you? Was it the taste? Was it the smell? Because I know a thing or two about palm wine, and I remember when the palm wine tappers, when they get the palm wine jugs straight from the palm tree, it tastes different. And then sometimes it goes through this fermentation process, and then it smells different. So what was it that made a difference to you, that when you tasted it, you said, no, this is not it?
No, when you go to palm, we have palm wine sheds, for lack of a better word. It's not much of anything. 4 sticks pinned to the ground with palm fronds or something like that. But what you notice is that you do not see any flies or any honeybees. That is a telltale sign that the drink has been adulterated. So, I mean, this is just for everybody's edification. If you go to buy palm wine and you look at it, they are selling it. You cannot see any fly alive. You cannot see any bee. Don't even bother tasting it. You just know that it has really been spoiled. So that was it for me. And I remember when we were growing up, I'll go with my dad to Limbe. You can find good quality palm wine, but all of a sudden, as time moved on, it just got worse and worse and worse until it got to the point where you could not even drink it again. And so I was just like, well, there is something that can be done about this. And luckily for us, because of the problem, I had a lot of time on my hands. Because I was still thinking, should I come back? Should I go look for work? And all those options did not look too good for me. So I was just like, okay, I might try my hand at this one and see if I can get it done. So little by little, we just started testing. And as we are testing, we're going through our finances and depleting our resources. So it took about 3 years, but we finally got to the point where we had like a breakthrough. We say, okay, yes, I think this idea would work. Now I've just glossed over a whole bunch of things because you buy a piece of equipment, you test 1, 2 times. Okay, this idea is not working. Okay, you've gone through maybe $5,000 or $10,000, whatever the case. You just move on. So, but after the 3rd year, some of the ideas started panning out, and we just kept building up on it. For anybody who has done research and development, you try when something is working, okay, you build up on that. Maybe 10 years down the line, it would fail you. But after 3 years, we had a breakthrough and we started working on it. And that was our first glimmer of hope. And then worked on it some more, and then we got it stabilized. Now, the idea when I was studying it was that we will stabilize it at room temperature. But, man proposes, God disposes. Eventually, we were able to stabilize it with refrigeration. So that took 3 years, and then we just kept working on it. And I love research and development. It keeps you busy anyway. So it took again another 3 years. So we're at about year 6. We were able to take palm wine and remove all the alcohol from it. So that was the second thing. So now we have 2 products. We have an alcoholized version, which has less than 1. It has about 1% alcohol. But by US law, anything above 0.5% alcohol is considered alcoholic. So, but now we can take the same palm wine, process it, no chemicals or anything, just mechanically, and you can take out all the alcohol from it. And what that does now is there is a whole segment of the population. There are some people who don't drink alcohol. I have a lot of Muslim friends. Mind you, I'm from Kumba, from Hausa quarters. So it's just I have a bunch of whole Muslim friends who do not drink alcohol. So now they too can get a taste of palm wine because I think it's a wonderful drink. They can also get a taste of it without violating any of the religious tenets. And what that does also is it opens up the whole Middle East as a potential market, which was something that we're not thinking of, because when we started the project, it was just more like, okay, we can get it to taste good. Okay, my homebodies in America, they too can drink good palm wine, and that was it.
Right.
Yes, and the numbers look fairly good enough, But
Yep.
now we look at it, and then most of our children, our friends, they are all back in the States. And
Mhm.
please, I don't want to insult anybody, but our children are Americans. Now, cater them whether you like them or not. So
So I
the
had I oh
yes,
so to hear of non-alcoholic palm wine, this is the first I'm hearing of it. So this is groundbreaking news to me because I've never heard of non-alcoholic palm wine. So just the idea, the originality behind your brand to be able to separate the alcohol from this beautiful traditional and cultural drink across the continent, Africa, that opens a gateway to new consumers, like you said, but at the same time, it gives people in the West of every age to be able to be a part of the culture, especially Black people, be a part of the culture and relate to some things, even if they're not able to leave these things, but they can live vicariously. Of course, drink responsibly. They can live vicariously through your palm wine juice. So we're just gonna soldier on to a game for the day. We only have a few minutes left. We're gonna soldier onto a game for the day. So on this show, Delphine, we have fun questions that we ask our guests. And these fun questions are usually centered around activities back in Cameroon, things that we used to do, or the foods that we used to eat. So this morning, I'm gonna ask you something fun and is directly related to your product, Tacha palm juice. So in every cultural gathering, you have to they break the kola nut and they pass the palm wine. It's kind of like a traditional rite that is done in a lot of African countries. So do you prefer palm wine with kola nuts or do you prefer palm wine with garden eggs? What's the combo that works for you? Or is it a collabo?
I prefer it with kola nuts.
Right answer. What do you prefer, Jimmy? Do you prefer kola nuts or garden eggs?
cola nuts, primarily bitter cola.
That was very specific. He's like, give me bitter cola and some palm wine. Okay, so for everyone watching us, please ask your questions. If you're watching us on YouTube, do not hesitate to chime in. If you have any questions for Delphine and Jimmy, please make sure you ask your questions. If you're here, if you join using the Zoom link, please use the Q&A panel section to ask your questions to our phenomenal couple. So aside from this opportunity that you have been able to harness and really make something off of it. I would say the packaging of this is beautiful. And the fact that you're able to think about the preservation and the shelf life of your product is amazing. So now, are there any other opportunities you see in Cameroon for your business that you guys are open to exploit?
Mm, yes, lots of opportunities.
Mm,
Just Cameroon is bush before bush, so we fell bush. So
mm,
there are just plenty of opportunities. Right now, another project we are working on, because you asked,
mm.
is the production and bottling of sunflower oil.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
that's it.
Is that is that gourmet or is it multi-purpose? Because here the sunflower oil and the olive oil, you can cook with it, you can use it topically. So it's multi-purpose. Is that going to be the same case with the sunflower oil that you guys are working on?
Yes, it is. Just
Okay.
because we import all the sunflower oil in Cameroon, we don't produce 1 liter in Cameroon, and to me, it's a shame.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Beautiful. Beautiful. So
that, that,
we do have some questions in the Q&A, Delphine. I'd like you to take this. So the first question here is how can they get this in Ghana? Do you guys have a distributor in Ghana? How can you how can they get the Tacha palm juice, sorry, in Ghana?
Yeah, so we're working on that. We're working on that. So we're looking for, so our model is really for us to produce and for us to get distributors who take it from us. So right now we have distributors in the US and in the UK. We don't have any distributors in Ghana, but that's what we're working on. We're working on making sure that this product hits the shelves across the board globally.
Beautiful. And we have a comment here from Rosemary Atanga. She says, congratulations, Delphine and Jimmy. I can't believe I have been buying this mbu, not knowing you were the brains behind it. So your product has been hitting the countertops of a lot of Cameroonians that just didn't know the faces behind it. Well, there they are. And our next question is the palm wine you export different from the ones you distribute locally? So they also say this is based on alcohol level requirements.
No, it's exactly the same.
Okay. Delphine, I saw you had an answer there.
Yes, the same. So it's exactly the same product. What has been going out has been the alcoholic version, the one with the somewhere between 0.5 and 1%.
Yes.
But what Jimmy was saying earlier is we do have the non-alcoholic version, which hasn't gone out yet.
Okay, perfect. So Jimmy, a question for you from Emilia Chindo. Are there any health benefits from the Tache palm juice?
There's quite a few. I think Delphine should answer that. She's the public health expert, but yes, it's good for lactating women, and she can continue from there.
Yeah, so palm juice is really very rich in vitamins, amino acids, and minerals. So it's highly beneficial for the health.
Yes.
And this is common knowledge. I think I think, thank you, Emilia, for bringing that up. I think she wanted us to talk about that it has health benefits. So in some cultures, it is highly promoted among lactating women to help with the production of breast milk. In some, it is believed, and I think it's scientific proven that it helps also with prostate health. But aside from that, it's rich in minerals and vitamins. Yeah, vitamin C and D. And all those good things.
That's wonderful. So, vitamin C. Oh, sorry. Go on, Jimmy.
No, the number one health benefit of palm wine is it makes you smile.
I would agree to that. I remember back in the day, there's always little palm wine joints and hurts, and on every street corner, and those were the happiest men. I could tell you, they were so happy, cracking jokes, just having a good old time. So, we cannot stop the show. We only have 2 more minutes left, but we cannot come to the end of the show without talking about the challenges. So I want to throw that out there to you. What has been some of the challenges you faced since you started this business in Cameroon, and what lessons did you learn? And if you could go back to redo it, what are some of the things you could have done differently? And I'll let anyone, either Jimmy or Duffy, either of you can pick this up, because I know that the challenges can differ from each other's perspective, you know.
I'll let Delphine answer.
Okay, so I think the biggest challenge that Jimmy, who is the brain behind this faced, was that the rest of the world really thought he was going crazy with all this R&D. And so, but I think that the way that he overcame that was really, when you believe in something, just stay focused and be able to sort out the noise from like productive, constructive criticism and contribution. We are here not because the product, we have reached our vision. Our vision is to make Tache palm juice the next coconut water. 30 years ago, there was no coconut water on the shelves of the US or UK or England or Europe or anywhere, because it's not indigenous to that. But the tropical communities came with coconut water, and it has gone, it's now a global drink and a $4 billion industry. That's where we're going with Thatched palm juice. We're not there yet. But what we have learned is that you need to be consistent. You need to start small and then scale gradually. And you need to be able to sort out the noise, like I said. But yes, it's a work in progress. In terms of distribution, you've heard someone is trying to get a sample in Germany right now, but it's so hard, you know. So that's the thing, you know, we need to distribute, and we're looking for mainstream distributors of beverages who can come and take these products from our factory and take it out there. Our plan is to have 7 of these factories around the country producing at least 1 million bottles a day, to be able to meet the demand. And we know that it's possible. So that's what I can say. Every challenge we have, we turn into an opportunity. We don't want to make a list of challenges. It can be depressing.
I love that mindset. And that is what we're all about here at I Am Cameroon. There's too much noise, there's too much complaints. But if we filter out the noise and really focus, we're able to see a few good things that we can capitalize on and try to make a change. If we all keep complaining, who is going to do the work, right? So we need to roll our sleeves and start doing the work ourselves. This is beautiful, and I wish you two the best of luck on scaling your business. It's an amazing business, and I'll tell you, I live in Iowa. So if I can get Thatched palm juice in Iowa, I will be the happiest girl because I consume mbu, like Rosemary Atanga says. I consume palm wine juice. I buy it from the Asian store, but I see is from different countries, the companies all over Africa that export those. But I would love to see the Thatched palm juice on my kitchen counter, you know. So thank you two so much for coming on to the show. So any last words, Jimmy? Is there anything that you want to tell our viewers this morning, kind of like a takeaway?
I'm not sure. I think what I've first of all is to say again to you, thank you for giving us this opportunity. And I would tell anybody who cares to listen is follow your dreams. And sometimes, even if you fail, it's better to try and fail than not try at all. Because
Yes.
sometimes we just get petrified. Oh, what if I fail? Then everybody looks at me as a failure. But I think it's worse. Just try and fail. There is no harm in that. It will not kill you. Hopefully, you learn something out of it. So I think that's the best I can say to your viewers.
I'll say, coming from you, this is so motivational because it is a big step. I don't care how anyone tries to look at it. It is a big major step to move from the West, to move from the US, go back to Cameroon without knowing what's going to happen, start up a business and keep grinding, keep going at it until it is a success and it picks up successfully like your companies have done. So congratulations. And if there's anyone watching that say, lead by example. And you know what you're talking about because you've been there. So I 100% agree with you. Any last word on your end, Delphine?
No, thank you so much. Thank you. Kudos, first of all, to the I Am Cameroon movement. And then thank you so much to all the organizers, you, Seraphine, and then Array, Ibambot, everyone who organizes this. This is a great really initiative. And I think it's going to give visibility to all the myriads of projects out there that Cameroonians are working on. But thank you. Thank you very much.
You are so welcome. And on behalf of I Am Cameroon, it is us who should thank you for gracing our platform with your presence. You two are a powerhouse. And thank you so much for coming on. Are we going to be seeing more of you on the show?
Yes.
Are we? Yes? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. We have one last comment from Emilia Chindo, and it says, it's important the public knows that for a good experience, preservation of this wonderful product upon purchase should be maintained at the advised temperature so that the quality is sustained at the drinker's table. Thank you so much, Amelia, for your input. Have a lovely day, Jimmy. Have a wonderful day, Delphine. I appreciate you too. Please keep putting Cameroon on the map and keep spreading our culture so that each and every person in the West, whatever continent they're in, will have a taste of Cameroon. Thank you all so much. I'm going to pass it on to Phil Najame to close the show for us. I will be with you guys next week on our Facebook Live. We're going to be discussing interesting topics, and in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be back to talk about a lot more business opportunities with other guests on I Am Cameroon. Until then, I remain your graceful host, and I'm going to pass it on to Phil. Bye, everybody. Phil?
All right, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Delphine. Thank you, Jimmy. This has been exceptional. You know,
Hey,
we Good to see you, Jimmy. I mean, just hearing your story, super proud of you guys. It's been many years. And God is good. And you've shown us that it's possible. On our platform, we're telling the story that Cameroon is very, very full of potential. But it takes people like you, Jimmy, it takes people like you, Delphine, to go and rewrite that story. Let all of us who are sitting on the sidelines get up from sleep and realize that there is just so much Cameroon has to offer. Super proud of you guys. And I tell you, I Am Cameroon has always stood on this principle. It is possible. Let us show other Cameroonians, let's showcase what you guys are doing and many others, so that some of us who are out here and everywhere else, we can see Cameroon in the eyes of Delphine, in the eyes of Jimmy. Because if we all do that, it will be a greater place. Thanks for being the inspiration. Thanks for being our mentors. And thank you guys so much for what you do. God bless your endeavors. And I tell you, your product is great. My brother-in-law actually imports it to the UK, and I've had it several times. Excellent product. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
thank you, Mola.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.